So what is going on, my fellow collectors? How is everybody doing today? Daredevil19 here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Neca Toys Ultimate Edition AHAB Predator. So let's get into it right away and take a quick look at this cool looking box. So we do get a basic style box when it comes to Neca's Ultimate Predator figures. So on the front of the box here it does say Predator, then we get some beautiful artwork of the AHAB Predator, and this is actually replicating the cover of the Predator Fire and Stone graphic novel, and if you haven't read it, I do highly recommend checking it out. And the bottom of the box here says AHAB Ultimate Edition. Then you can flip this open here. Then it does show the window displaying the figure and the accessories, and the other side does have a promo image of AHAB. And then the bottom of the box here does have the barcode and beloved plus, so nobody cares about. Then it shows everyone who was in on this project from Neca there. And then the top of the box here, looking pretty damn cool. And the one side of the box does say Predator with some comic images from the graphic novel. Then the other side of the box does have another badass image from the graphic novel, and then the back of it does show a bunch of cool poses you can get the figure into, along with most of the accessories. But anyway, that is the packaging. Let's get this figure over to take a closer look at my all-time favorite Predator. Alrighty, taking a closer detailed look, and once again, Neca did a superb job with another Predator figure. In the update on this AHAB, they just did a phenomenal job with it, and I can't be any more happy with how this figure really did turn out. Now, the head sculpt here looks great. They did an awesome job with it. I love the texture to the skin there. We do get the scar up there, which I believe is his symbol for his Predator clan. I do have a little bit of glue up there, but really not that big of a deal. Then we do get like the dots, the black dots all throughout the head right there. You can see his scarred up right eye, which is missing. And then the left eye, the pupil is painted straight ahead, but I feel like his eyebrow hangs a little too low, and it's blocking his vision, so he can't really see at all. So I wish they would have risen it up just a little bit. The mandibles, though, turned out really good. Very nice sculpt on the teeth as well, and inside on the mouth there. And the face just overall turned out really good. And then we do get the really long Predator dreadlocks, and I always like the look of the longer dreadlocks. I think it makes the Predator look even more badass. He doesn't really have too many jewels in it, but we do get like a nice sculpted texture to his pred dreads, and it looks really cool on this figure. And then the back, he does have a piece that is holding a couple of his pred dreads together, and we have some very nice sculpt and paint detail on that. And all the dreads are individual pieces, like how they usually always are. Now the torso here, he does have a trophy for a necklace right there, and just beautiful job on that skull of whatever type of creature it is. You can even see the teeth are sculpted and painted on the bottom right there, so really cool looking trophy for AHAB there. And then the torso, we do get some nice sculpt and paintwork on the netting, as you can see right there. And we do have a nice like sculpted texture to the skin. Once again, he has a little bit of armor around the neck, and then we get some more armor on the left side. I believe this body is the same body as the Jungle Hunter Predator. And be careful with this tube here that's connected to the shoulder armor and the torso, because mine ripped off from me articulating it. I had to glue it back on, so just be a little careful with yours. But I love the way the armor looks here. A little bit of battle damage on it as well. And then we do get a couple straps, as you can see, going along the torso, over the shoulder and the side of the torso that connects to the back armor, and just beautiful paintwork on that. I love the weathered type look to his armor, and the sculpt of it just looks awesome. A nice sculpt on the netting and his back there. And then we do get a little cape this time for AHAB, which I really do like the way it looks. It is a nice maroon color, and it just sits on the figure really nicely. I believe it's glued on up by the shoulders right there. And then for the arms here, the right arm, we do get a little piece of armor on the right shoulder. We get some nice sculpt and paintwork all throughout the skin around his bicep there. Then we do get the gauntlets on the right side of his arm, and they are on a slide. I prefer the peg-in blades, but I mean the slide's fine, you know. It does stay when you slide it out and then retract it, so really not that big of a deal. And we do get that weathered type look again all throughout the gauntlet there, which looks really cool. Then the left side, we do get a little more armor on the shoulder and the bicep. It does have that weathered type look, which looks dope. This does have a tube on the bicep armor that connects to the gauntlet for the device here, so just be careful, because that could break off if you're a little rough with the articulation. And the device turned out really good, and it can flip open this time, and they didn't put any Predator symbols in there, which I don't really mind, because this thing just looks dope. Now for the waist here, he does have a loincloth on, which is kind of like a furry type material, like he got it from a bear or something. And we do have a belt on there that has some beautiful sculpt and paintwork. He is wearing an armored cup to protect his Predator genitals, but the furry loincloth piece here just turned out really nice. And there's a random bone sculpted and painted on there as well. Now for the legs here, we do get a little bit of armor on the side of the thighs. On the netting on the thighs, it's good on the right one, a little sloppy on the inner left thigh and a little sloppy over there, but other than that, the netting looks great throughout the figure there, and we do get that nice sculpted texture all throughout his skin as well. Now for the lower legs here, we do get some knee armor and then the armor on the lower legs, and just once again great sculpt and paint all throughout it. And I like how the right armor has like a random strap going around it. I think that looks pretty cool. And then we do get his predator feet, and we do get some nice paint all throughout the skin tone. There is some shading on it as well. We have that nice sculpted texture on the skin, and he is wearing some predator sandals, as you can see the straps and a little piece of armor on the top of the foot. And we do get his predator claws on his heels right there. That looks like it hurts when it's growing. And then we do get his predator toes, which turned out pretty good. The paint on the toenails or the claws right there turned out really good, and then the bottom of them we do get a little bit of sculpt work and some peg holes. But overall, I think Neca really did knock it out of the park with this AHAB Predator, and I can't be any more happy with how the detail turned out. But anyway, let's continue on. Moving on to the accessories, we get a really good amount of stuff included with AHAB, and I feel like this is where this figure excels a lot more compared to other Neca Predator figures, and that's because of all the different display options you'll have with this figure because of all the accessories. So what is included with AHAB, we do get two interchangeable bladed wrist gauntlets. So we do get the one on the right, which comes on the figure out of the packaging, and that's the one with the 2 wrist blades. As you can see, then we have the one on the left with the 3 wrist blades, and I'm definitely going to have the one with the 3 displayed on AHAB. And we get some very nice sculpt and paint detail on the gauntlet piece, and then the blades turned out really good too. We get that nice silver paint and some nice sculpt on them as well, and they are pretty sharp, so be careful of that. And the way you swap them out is fairly simple. You see the right arm right there, all you do is just peg it right on to get it on, and it stays on there nice and tight. As you can see, the blades slide out and then they do retract, and the way you get them off, I just pull up from back here and it pops right off. So it's very simple to interchange the wrist blades. So we do get that. And then we do get the engineer skull and spine, and this thing just looks so damn dope. We didn't get this last time with AHAB, but we get some beautiful paintwork all throughout it, and just excellent tiny sculpt detail throughout the spinal cord there. That just looks sick, and even on the skull as well. I do wish you could hinge the jaw up and down, but really not that big of a deal, and it's so massive compared to the human skull and spine, as you can see the size difference there. So we do get that stuff. And then we also get his biomask, and this is definitely my favorite accessory out of everything. Neca just went above and beyond with the detail on this. This thing just looks incredible. I love the wash all throughout it, how it looks all weathered, and you can see it's battle damaged as well. Just really great tiny sculpt detail around like these sides, like around the cheeks, and I like the way these pieces look on the sides as well. And I like how they painted like a glossy black for the eyes. I like how the teeth look right there. I always like AHAB's biomask the most because I always like how you can see his mandibles on the bottom. I always thought that was pretty cool. Then we have the target lock-on mechanism right there on the side, painted and sculpted. And then the inside actually has detail on it as well. We get the wash all throughout it, and I like how they painted the eyes red on the inside. That just looks sick. And the way you get it on, it stays on really well, and it pops on really simple also. All you do is just push it right onto AHAB's face, and then it stays on there really well, and it looks natural, like how a Predator mask should look on a Predator, unlike the ABP Elder Predator, how it's kind of still like risen up off his face and it doesn't look like it's fully sitting on the figure. This one looks like it's fully sitting on the figure, like the mask is glued onto the head right there. And I do like the way the mandibles look sticking out. I always thought that looked pretty cool. So we do get the biomask, and then we do get the throwing disc. I forgot what this is called exactly, but once again, Neca did a very nice job with the detail. I like the gold paint with the black wash all throughout it, and just excellent tiny sculpt detail, especially on the inside right there. And he does hold on to it pretty well with the one open hand that we get with AHAB. So we do get that stuff. And then we also get some more of AHAB's weapons. So we do get the plasma caster with the cannon on there, and everything is on out of the packaging. You don't have to connect anything like that, but it is articulated. We have a hinge at the bottom, and then we have a tiny ball peg at the top, so it can hinge up and down. It can slightly pivot, and then it does swivel as well. But just, once again, great job with the detail. Like I said before, Neca goes above and beyond when it comes to the paint and sculpt with their figures. I like the little tube piece hanging out right there. And the way you connect this is probably the one plasma caster that connects the best on their Predator figures. So we do have the little notch on the bottom and then at the top as well. So you just line it up on the bottom and then just slide the top piece on like that. And this one stays on really well if you articulate it around like his head. It's not going to pop the plasma caster off like some of the other figures, but that just looks dope once you have some of his armor and plasma caster on. So we do get that. And then we do get the engineer gun. Then we do get this little clip right here. And when I opened the figure, I was like, what the hell is this for? And it's actually to clip on AHAB's back so you can have him holster the gun here. I believe you could have him holster his combi stick as well, but it is meant for the engineer gun. And the engineer gun just turned out great. Excellent sculpt and paint detail all throughout it. I had it upside down. Sorry about that. And we didn't get this last time with AHAB, so really happy they included it this time, because this was a big part in that Fire and Stone Predator graphic novel. Like I said, I highly recommend checking it out. And then there's the peg hole for the clip, and be careful not to lose the clip because it is extremely tiny. So you just peg that in, you clip it onto this piece right here. You just clip it just like that, and then there you go. You have AHAB with the holstered engineer gun, which is pretty damn cool looking. So we do get that stuff, and then we also get his combi stick or spear or staff, whichever you would like to call it. And this did break on me right here because, like I said, the ankles are a little too loose, so AHAB will fall over. And I did have him holding his spear here, and he fell over while I wasn't looking, and it broke the spear right here. But I was able to glue it back on, and it does look pretty good. The only thing, it looks like a little warped, or maybe it just wasn't made properly, as you can see. But other than that, everything else looks great on it. I love the silver paint. It's very sharp, so be careful of that. And it is also fragile, and I do like the handle. Excellent sculpt detail on that. I like the gold paint that they chose too, and then the rest of it, I think it's really fragile down here, so be careful of that. And he does grip onto it fine with the one gripping hand. So we do get that. And then we finally get 4 interchangeable hands. So starting on the right here, we do get 2 open type hands, and they are sculpted differently. As you can see, the left hand is a more like splayed out open hand, and the right hand isn't as splayed out, and this is meant for the throwing disc, and you could also use it to hold the other end of the engineer gun. And the hands, they're kind of simple to swap out, but they are very scary to swap out. If you have any Predator figures with these type of wrist joints, then you know it is a bit frightening swapping them out. So I would recommend heating them up with hot water or a blow dryer before swapping them. So we do get the open type hands, then we do get 2 gripping hands. So we have a left wider gripping hand, then we have a right more narrow gripping hand, and you could have them grip onto the spear with either hand, and also the left hand with the more open grip, you could have them hold around the trigger on the engineer gun. You could also have them hold the engineer skull and spine with the wider grip as well. And all the hands have some great sculpt and paint detail like usual when it comes to NECA figures. But anyway, that is all the incredibly awesome accessories included with AHAB. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the reviews, shall we? Now for the height of one of the most badass Predators. To the very top of his head, looks like he's around 8 inches and 1/4 of an inch tall. And then here he is compared to another elderly Predator, the AVP Elder Predator, the AVP Mass Scar Predator, the Ancient Warrior, and the Fugitive Predator. And then here he is compared to the Marvel Legends Evolution of Groot, the SH Figuarts Thanos, the NECA Original Movie Team and T. Raphael, and the SH Monster Arts Predator Wolf. And I really hope NECA makes us an updated Predator Wolf soon, because it is much needed. And then here he is compared to the Storm Collectibles Sub-Zero, the SH Figuarts Sage Mode Naruto, the Figma Deadpool, and the Marvel Legends Cable. And then here he is compared to the SH Figuarts Awakened Warrior Super Saiyan Goku and the Mezco 112 Deadpool. Anyway, there's some quick comparisons. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the review. So now for the articulation, and AHAB does have some really good movement for a Predator figure. So for the neck articulation, you can get AHAB to look up a really good amount. He has some really good neck articulation, unlike some of the other Predator figures. So he does look up almost all the way, does look down a really good amount We do get beautiful pivot there, as you can see, really good pivot actually, and then of course it does swivel. If you do have the plasma caster on, it is going to hinder some of the articulation because the pred dreads will bump into it, which is known for the Neca Predator figures, of course. Now we do get the updated torso articulation here, which is right under the chest. Just goes forward and back a tiny bit, but better than not having it compared to the last figure. Just a little bit of pivot, and then we do get some swivel. The waist barely goes forward and back, so with both joints, AHAB's going to crunch forward that much, and both joints goes back about that much. Really no pivot at the waist, but you get better swivel down there. Now for the arms here, like I said, be careful when you articulate the left arm. You don't want to rip that tube out, so I'm going to use it with the right arm here. So the right arm goes out a little less than 90 degrees. If you move the arm a little bit, it does look like it goes 90 degrees. My right bicep is a little loose in certain spots, so that is a bit disappointing, but the arms do go up and down. We do have the double jointed elbows that pretty much bend in all the way, so that is awesome. Then we do get the swivel at the gauntlets on both sides. The wrists here, just like with the Fugitive Predator, they went back to the peg and the hinge, so it does hinge back and forth, and then of course it does swivel. I do prefer the ball pegs, but I mean, what can you do? You still get some decent wrist articulation. Now for the legs here, the loincloth is going to hinder it a tiny bit because it is, I mean, it is a softer rubbery type plastic, but it's a very thick plastic. So AHAB is going to kick forward about that much, which is a little less than 90 degrees, so not the best, but still decent. Goes to the back just a tiny bit, and then AHAB going out to the sides. You can get them out about 45 degrees, which is alright, and then we do get the upper thigh swivel there. We do have double jointed knees that bend back. Come on, you bastard. All the way. And then for the ankles here, they do swivel. They hinge up a pretty good amount, hinge down decently, and then we do get, I guess, alright pivot. Really not the best, but better than no pivot at all. And my ankle joints do have a bit of looseness to it, so he can fall over very easily, as you saw right there. Really not going back as much, but going forward, he did fall on me a few times, so it might just be with my figure, or other people might experience that issue as well. But overall, I think Neca really did work in the articulation very well on this updated AHAB, and you're going to be able to get him into much better AHAB Predator-like poses, and I'm about to show you some of them right about now. But anyway, that is my review of the Neca Ultimate Edition AHAB Predator. Hope you enjoyed it. If I had to rate this figure between a 1 through 10, I'd have to give it an even 8. If you would like to know the price and where to buy this figure, I did get mine from Amazon from Neca's early limited release, and I believe this should be hitting retailers sometime next week. And I don't think my buddy from Agelessgeeks will be getting this in stock, but you can get your other figures and collectibles from Agelessgeeks.com, and I would recommend going through their Instagram or Facebook group. I will put more information in the description below. And if you would like to support the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click on that notification bell. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, oh well, I guess you didn't like it. But thanks for watching. I will see you later. Predator figures. So on the front of the box here we do blah from the Fire and Stone series, and then on the bottom here it does say AHAB. Damn, I messed that up. Window displaying the figures and the accessories there. The figure, what the heck? And if you do have the plasma caster, damn it. Damn, he almost fell, you bastard. So what we do get with why do I keep messing up saying this damn name? Included with this damn it, messed it up again. Damn. Beautiful gold paint all throughout it, and just 90, what the hell is wrong with me? It's much larger compared to the spinal cord and skull of the human, which I'll show you right now. I forgot to grab it though. Damn it. And the blades turned out really good too. I love the silver paint they used. I keep messing up. Damn it! Will I ever finish this bloody review?